So how much did we pay?
We're just gonna come out and say it, are we?
Why are you still fat? Our life is so much worse having a child.
Ugh, I feel emotional now. Would you be attracted to me with a moustache?
She already has one.
Oh, wow. Hello, and a very happy new year.
So we've decided to do something very, very original,
Yes.
and we're going to do a Q&A, not because we're lazy, but because we're creative. We asked you guys on Patreon and on our Instagram to give us some questions of what you're dying to know. And let's start with probably the most juiciest one.
Oh.
And it's from Loved by a Few.
Oh.
And they say, how much did you pay for your house in Sicily?
This is a common question, and sorry for not telling you sooner, I suppose, because, yeah, it's the sort of information you want to know.
So how much did we pay?
We're just going to come out and say it, are we? We've been holding it back all this time, but now all of a sudden we're just going to blurt it out all over the internet.
So we paid £35,000 for this house in Sicily. It has like 6 rooms and has a beautiful view of the Mediterranean. And it was actually kind of one of the more expensive ones in the village.
Yeah.
So it was actually a lot cheaper ones around, as low as like 10,000 euros. But none of them had a view like this.
Yeah, the view and the size. I think it's quite uncommon to have houses of that age to be quite so big. So once we do finish all our renovations there, we're going to have lots of room to have people come and stay, which is one of the main reasons we wanted to get it in the first place.
That leads us on to the next question from our patron Dave, who asks, can you share the design and timeline plans?
Timeline.
Can you share the design and timeline? Easy. Can you share the I'm literally reading it out. How is it I don't stumble over my words when I'm thinking, but when I have to read one sentence? Can you share your design and timeline plans for the Sicily house? Will it all be DIY or mostly hired out?
Great questions, Dave. I wish we had answers. Well, we're not much for planning, are we?
I think really like dream situation is that we will pay people to do a serious chunk, most of the chunk.
I think anything too complicated or that needs the job to be done well, we will get professionals to do it. Anything else that's just kind of aesthetic, maybe we'll try and attempt to do ourselves.
But we don't know right now how much it would cost if we did pay someone to do it. We don't know if we need to save a bunch of money or if it's even possible within our budget. Otherwise, we're going to have to do everything ourselves or more likely just leave it.
And it will take the next 20 years of us slowly chipping away bit by bit.
Yeah, if our tyres on our camper van or anything to go by, that was something when we bought it, we said, we'll do that soon. And it's like 3-4 years later and they still are rusted as
the wheels, not the tyres.
As for the design of the place, we are hoping to basically get a roof terrace. That's our number one dream.
That would be a dream.
We do want to knock down the wall between the kitchen and the dark room, the dining room, and also maybe a downstairs bathroom. Outside of that, that's quite a lot, but there's nothing else we want to do. Yeah,
outside of that, structurally, there's not that much that we want to change. We'd like to keep it kind of fairly minimal in terms of the design and everything. But if we could get that roof terrace, it'd be like a dream come true and some. The house itself is a dream come true, but that plus the roof terrace would be outrageous.
Icing on the cake.
Yes. Lately, we have been using the new Opera One R2 browser, and we want to give a big thank you to them for being the sponsor of today's video. Now, let me show you why this browser is so awesome. The tab islands mean that we can group all of our travel research and creator projects all together so we're not completely drowning in tabs. And the tab traces help us to spot our most recently visited tabs without having to go through them one by one. The darker the underscore, the more recently you visited the tab. The split screen feature means that we can have 2 tabs open at the exact same time without having to faff around with different windows. And this is especially helpful when we're doing travel research. If we're editing or working on something, we can still keep some music going without interruptions using the floating music player. Aria's AI tool is super handy too. The Aria command line feature means that you can ask any question without having to leave the web page. All you have to do is hit command + and ask away. The image generation feature can create an image from scratch using just a simple prompt, but it can also give you information on the image thanks to image recognition. And if you're anything like me, you will love spending way too much time playing with the themes. So if you're curious to give it a try too, make sure to check out our link, which we will leave down in the description below.
Next up, we got a question from Dan and Logan, our patrons, and they ask, now that we have Noah, 2 camper vans, a UK residence, a home in Sicily, and a travel channel to feed, yikes. How will you manage it all in 2025?
I mean, how did we manage it in 2024?
I don't know. I don't know. Or not well, will be the answer. Yeah, I mean, it's a great question that...
Who knows?
To be honest, behind the scenes, we are asking these same questions of ourselves.
Yes.
And I think if we were the kind of people that would allow those thoughts to bog us down, we'd probably do nothing. So we'll just do it and we'll see and we'll adjust and we'll realise, okay, that we don't need that many camper vans. Maybe it's time to sell 1 or 2 and you know, maybe we'll put more time into something than something else. Maybe we'll spend more time in Sicily, maybe spend more time travelling and less time in our place in the UK.
Maybe spend more time in our US camper van versus our UK one. Who knows? We don't.
But I guess the reality is that it is a lot.
Yes.
Especially with the travel channel to feed on top. I think that's the hard one. But that's kind of the fun that we have to figure it out.
Yeah, spinning plates.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think...
We're not convincing them because we're not convincing ourselves.
No, absolutely.
I have no idea.
No, I have no idea. And I think if Noah has taught us anything, it's that we can make all the plans we want, but they won't necessarily come into fruition. So we've tried to take this year with a bit more of a laid-back attitude of let's not make many plans, and then hopefully we won't not do our plans.
Next is then, what are our big travel plans for this year? Well, the big travel plan we have of 2025 is that we have got our first group trip to Borneo, which we're really, really excited about.
And that's in September.
Yes.
And that's going to come around in a flash. And there are a few spaces left, so if anyone is interested in coming with us to Borneo, then check out the link. We'll put it in the description down below. It's going to be a blast.
I mean, we will definitely be going to Sicily, I'm sure, a couple of times.
Yeah.
And then in a dream situation, we would be going to the US and we'll go out to our camper van there. And the same with Australia. My sister lives in Australia and we want to go and see her. So we might be tying that with Borneo. And we're open to suggestions, actually. We're looking for ideas. So
tell us what to do. We can't think for ourselves.
It's so painfully true.
I think this year is going to be really, really great. I'm really excited for 2025. I think this is going to be the best year we've had yet. Noah keeps getting more and more fun, and so I just imagine travel is just going to open up more and more to us. It has felt a little restricted, not in a begrudging way, just in a like that's life kind of way. There's only so much we can do with him, but I'm really excited to see what we can do more of in 2025, and I think it's going to be more active year for us. There's going to be more activities within the travels. As many of you know, we're on a bit of a health and fitness journey, and I think being more active on our travels is definitely part of that we want to incorporate more of. So watch this space.
And this is a juicy one.
Oh.
Will we decide to stop YouTube as a career someday?
I'm just imagining like us as like 80-year-olds like vlogging down the streets of Bangkok or something. I don't know why we're 80 and we're hanging out in Bangkok, but that's where my mind is.
We're really
wow. Just a couple of horny 80-year-olds vlogging in Bangkok. Oh, how times haven't changed.
I think this question is probably something that's become more relevant to us over the last year. And I think we said in a video last year that we were probably closer to quitting YouTube than we'd ever been before. Well, it's definitely a thought. I don't think it's anywhere near close. I think it's one of those things, it might
creep up on us.
Yeah.
But, you know, we don't know.
I guess this is kind of an unwritten symbiotic relationship that we have here. And so as long as we keep enjoying making the content and then you guys enjoy watching the content and then everyone's happy.
So as long as that's the case, then we'll carry on doing it.
Yeah.
And if that changes, then we'll have to adjust. And if that means we have to take a step away and stop doing YouTube, then we will. But I don't think that's happening anytime soon.
Mm-hmm. I think it's the main thing that would probably stop it on our end is just running out of ideas and not really having the creative headspace to come up with stuff that we want to make.
Yeah. That we want to make and that you want to see.
Yeah.
We have to find that nice middle ground.
Mm-hmm. Next question. This was asked in many different forms, but is, how is my eye doing?
Oh, yeah. Good question.
How is my eye doing? Does it look weird? I'm not sure.
It does, they still look different to me. But I am standing while I'm sitting inches away from your face.
I got hit directly in the eye with an olive while olive harvesting in Sicily.
Obviously.
So pretentious, I deserve everything I get to that eye. And it caused permanent damage, which wasn't necessarily diagnosed straight away, but then it didn't get any better. And so basically I have slightly worse vision. My mind has kind of got used to it now, so I don't really notice it, apart from when it's sunny. When it's sunny, my eye really hurts. It's like having a headache in the eye.
Because essentially where the olive hit, it paralyzed the muscle that expands and contracts the pupil. So his pupil doesn't move. It stays that size all the time. So if it's really bright, it's just constantly letting in light, right? And that's why you struggle with the bright days.
Yeah. So luckily England is always overcast. Unluckily, Sicily, the house we bought
not that long ago,
is very sunny. And then in turn very painful. I do actually wear sunglasses indoors a lot now. Yes. If it's sunny indoors, I kind of have to wear them, which is really weird. But all in all, I kind of don't notice it. It's just a new normal, and I'm completely okay with it. I have two eyes. I'm a happy man. This one's a great juicy question.
Oh.
How has parenthood changed your lives? How has it made our life better? Or more interestingly, how has it made our life worse? Our life is so much worse having a child. Use that as a soundbite for an intro. Got ya.
Oh, God. I mean, you'd be lying if you said there were some aspects of your life that weren't worse because of having a child, right? Mm-hmm. You don't have time to do anything. You don't sleep anywhere near as much. You have some other creature that you put before yourself. So you automatically kind of get bumped down a notch. To
be honest, there isn't really many things that has made my life worse. I think it's harder to think now, I find.
Yes.
And with the business, it's really hard.
Yeah.
I can't... The thought processes and everything that I used to make these videos, come up with ideas, are just getting stopped a lot.
Yeah.
And so that's probably the hardest thing, I would say.
Yeah. Can't get into a flow state of ideas, when we're having a great conversation, coming up with great ideas, because it is constant interruptions, obviously. And that has really, really affected us in terms of the YouTube stuff, hasn't it?
I can't think of any positives because there's so many positives.
Yeah. Well, I mean, our life just has so much more meaning.
Yeah.
Right? And meaning is everything. So
yeah, and we're better people for it.
Yes. Every day he's teaching me how to be a better version of myself, and that is you can't put a price tag on that at all.
You're also kind of faced with your own weaknesses more often, I think, with having a child, and you kind of realize what you maybe are showing them and you don't want to show them, so you have to work really hard on yourself.
Yeah.
Or they're gonna pick up and have all these other unwanted traits that you have.
Yeah.
And even then, if you work on those traits and then they don't have them, they're gonna have some other ones as a reason for that. So the whole thing's messed up.
Yeah. To go back to the point of him teaching me to be a better version and improve myself every day, he also simultaneously acts as the motivation to do it, because it's very easy to not improve yourself for yourself, right?
Yeah.
Because Yeah, it's easy to let yourself down. It's a lot harder to let that little boy down because he's amazing. Ugh, I feel emotional now. I'm not going to cry.
Yeah, I'd say like my only regret actually is that we didn't have him sooner.
Yeah, that's true. But then if we had him sooner, it wouldn't be him.
Yeah, it'd be a different child, and that child was shit. Thank God that sperm got lost on the wayside.
Wow. Where did he get lost, Alex?
Now that's for their imagination. Have you found a balance between adventure and a healthy and productive routine, as it's something they struggle with?
Yeah.
We had this question in many varying forms, from why are you still fat to and eloquently put one like that.
You gave that one the limelight, not the fatty comment. Brilliant.
And obviously not.
No.
Obviously not. It's like, for me, that's if I was on my deathbed today, that would be my biggest regret, that I didn't get a hold of that. It's the one thing I want. It's obviously not the priority, because if it was the priority, I wouldn't be in that situation.
I think it's also really important to recognize that I haven't met many people who have that down. You know, like I think this is a problem that everyone can relate to in some form, and that most people are always kind of chipping away at and struggling with.
I basically am so all or nothing, and I'm so all in, like, on parenting and the business side of things, that I struggle to think of anything else. I'm kind of like blinkered like that, so I can't really think of other stuff.
It's because when you go in, you go all in on something, and it's very hard when you're all in on something to be like fragmented into different things, right?
Like I could go all in on health,
but everything
else would have to stop, and unfortunately with the way the world works, that isn't really possible. If I could just take a year off, hit pause now, and then just go off, I wouldn't
think
do
that
it.
all the time.
I wouldn't do
pause. Yeah, we just go on a massive bender and just eat pizza every day.
I just pause time. Imagine just going on the treadmill, I pause time, everyone stopped, and I'm like... Next up, Jeffrey Mason, one of our patrons, asks, do you think we'll be going back to the States in the new year?
I hope so.
Well, we actually have some exciting news that I don't know if it would be out there on their channel yet, but our camper van, which is currently in Denver, Colorado, is being picked up by our friends Eric and Allison, and they are going to drive it to basically where they live in Texas.
Yep, they're rescuing her for us.
Yeah.
She's been held hostage. Well, she hasn't really. Basically, she's in an expensive storage unit, which we're paying for her to stay in whilst not using it.
Also in Colorado, the winters are pretty harsh, so we can't really go and get it in the winter, so it kind of blocks out a chunk of time. So having it in Texas is really, really exciting, because we're going to be near our friends. We'll be able to help them out with their projects, do some traveling, and get to explore more of Texas, which we haven't been to since this.
So hopefully our next trip, we will be flying out potentially to Texas to pick up the camper and take it on a lovely trip around the US with our boy.
So Andy and Debs, our patrons, have also asked, will you travel to Canada at any point?
We would love to travel to Canada. How much do we talk about traveling to Canada? And
we talk about it an embarrassing amount, considering we don't do it.
We've never done it. Yeah.
It's kind of hard because we've got our camper van in the US. It's like a little bit hard to think to go and, rent a camper van in Canada.
Yeah.
We could drive the van to Canada.
Yeah.
But it just sounds a bit daunting with Noah. But it's pretty much my number one country I want to go and visit.
Yeah, for the most part, it's a logistical thing with Noah and the trips, and also it is an expensive trip to do.
We also built up a little bit of a complex last year of travelling with Noah, because even the short flights in Europe were quite difficult, because he's a very, very active kid, and sitting down is just not in his repertoire. So sitting down for 9+ hours it just sounds like hell to us.
Yeah.
We're getting much closer to being able to do that. Like, things have changed in the last few months. I would love to go to Vancouver Island. That's where I'm researching a lot in Canada. It looks so cool. But I would love to do a really big trip. I think I'd like to do a nice varied trip, like a little bit of camper van, trains, hotels, and get out and see the wildlife.
Yeah, the wildlife up there looks absolutely spectacular and right up our alley. So yeah, that's definitely on the cards. We haven't booked anything yet, but we're very, very hopeful.
So Jim and Terry, our patrons, have asked, how has van life changed since travelling with Noah, and do you plan to do an extended trip soon?
Well, van life doesn't really exist with Noah. That's how that's changed.
We've tried it a number of times and it is hard. It's great going out in the day and using the van as a day
just like
van.
the odd night.
But our son didn't used to sleep very well at all. Behind the scenes, the sleep stuff for about a year and a half was intense.
Yeah.
We were running on empty a lot. I don't know kind of how we did what we did. No. So there was no chance that he would sleep in the van with us.
No.
Once he reached a certain age.
He was always, when he would sleep, he was always a very independent and is a very independent sleeper. So the thought of all being crammed into the bed together with him, it's always been a bit of a nightmare for us. So we've been looking forward to using this camper van more with him when he's a bit older, because there is a little bunk bed in the pop-top roof up here, which will be perfect for him in a year's time. But as it stands, we haven't done it a lot with him.
I think more likely the next extended trip we do in a camper van is going to be in the US, because to make the effort to go out there and to do it, we'd like to make a big series out of it. So I think that's definitely way more likely than us doing an extended trip in this van.
Exactly. And whether that's in our van that we already have out there, which is much bigger than this and therefore more practical with Noah, or if that means renting a bigger rig out there as well and testing out something even bigger, maybe that'll be the case.
Now we're getting to the real hard-hitting questions.
Oh no.
The personal stuff.
Oh geez.
From Zach, our patron. When is the next Buzz Beans vlog? I know you have a youngster, makes it tough, but fans demand Alex being Buzz. I don't need many excuses.
I'm expecting you to just pull out a pint from behind your back.
I'm up for it. I guess it's Emma. When do you want to get drunk?
It's tough, right? Because, well, firstly, how often do we get drunk now that we have Noah? Parenting hungover is not fun, you guys. I'm sure a lot of you can relate. So it's not something that we go and do lightly. It has to be really worthwhile.
Well, we did do our first video, just the two of us, not too long ago, since we've had Noah, and we are hoping to do more of that. With my mum being able to babysit, I think it will free us up to go off for a few days every now and again, make a couple of videos. So I think that's when it's going to happen.
Yeah,
and I'd love to do that.
Likely.
We should go to somewhere like a Europe city break.
Yeah.
Like Poland or something.
Yeah.
And just, go at it.
Is that because that's the last time you can remember? Are you talking about drinking?
Yes. Next question.
Yeah.
When are we heading back to Sweden?
Oh, Sweden. We talk about Sweden a lot, don't we?
I feel like our story with Sweden isn't done yet.
No.
I don't know what form, because we obviously bought a house in Sicily, so we didn't buy a house in Sweden. And I love the idea of maybe getting, if it's possible, to find a super, super, super cheap wooden cabin.
Or maybe not even buying, just going there and have some epic trips. I think we could have some amazing road trips out there.
Also, I'm wanting to do a big kayak trip in the near future.
That's a place.
That would be either there or Canada, right up my alley.
Yeah. I guess to answer, we don't know when we're heading back there, but it's often on our minds. So it wouldn't surprise me if we end up back there in the summer this year.
The next one is a personal question.
For who? Both of us?
I guess so. Baby number 2.
Oh my God.
Anytime soon.
I always find it really funny when people ask this question, because it's just oh, hey, when are you going to start having unprotected sex again?
It's funny.
All right, nosy Nancy.
They're just asking a nice question. Don't attack the people asking questions.
I know. People like family stuff.
It's the most common question we get asked in real life, and I also think the same as Emma. It's a funny question to ask, but it's funny. And before having a kid, I used to think it was a crazy question to ask, but now I had a kid, I ask people with a kid as well.
Yeah.
When you're having your next kid, I need to know.
Tell me so I can put it in the diary.
Yeah.
The answer is we don't know.
Maybe.
if or when that would happen. But as it stands, we're loving life with Noah as it is, and it's really nice just enjoying him at the phase he's at now and soaking it all up and not being distracted by anything else. It's nice.
We'll tell you at the appropriate time. Or if you don't hear anything, then we didn't.
Yeah.
Kiki Beeks asks, will you ever share a peek at your wedding photos? Even just one? And it's funny because seeing these questions, this was actually a really common question that we got. And I was like, oh, did we not share anything?
No,
it's funny, considering our job is on social media, we are pretty rubbish at sharing certain parts of our lives.
Yeah.
And
I don't know, I just assume nobody's interested.
it's because we're not interested in other people's wedding photos. You guys must really like us, because maybe just thinking, like, would I ask my friends? Like, only if I really like them.
People like weddings, though. People are like wedding people, you know, who get really excited about weddings.
I guess we weren't necessarily wedding people as we waited. It was a 9-year engagement.
Yeah.
But if you'd like to see a photo of our wedding,
Let's put one up on the screen.
There
right
you
now.
go. Wow. Look at us.
Look at
how
us.
happy we probably look. Because I don't know what photo this is right now. But it looks nice. And then maybe even a little bit of video clip. Ah,
That's
look,
nice.
Noah's on my arm because he was crying and wouldn't let anyone else hold him.
The entire ceremony being passed back and forth between us. It was wonderful.
Next up is, are we going to homeschool Noah?
Oh.
It's a good question,
Great
and something
question.
we've definitely talked about. We've probably gone through phases where we definitely were, and we definitely
And
weren't.
some where we definitely weren't, yeah.
I would say we're in the definitely weren't phase. Definitely aren't phase right now.
We yo-yo around quite a bit.
These guys know us. They know we yo-yo. That's who we are.
We're the yo-yoers.
It's
The yo-yoing beans.
terrible name.
The answer is that we talk about this a lot, and we still, no matter how much we talk about it, we still get further and further from an answer.
It's kind of funny. I'm now going back through all the answers we've given through this Q&A, and
I don't think
I bet
we've given
we've
any
probably been so
definitive answers.
non-committal on every single aspect.
Yeah, that's us.
That's who we
That's
are.
the couple that took 9 years to get married.
Yeah.
Non-committal. Yeah.
But we accept ourselves this way. I think if it made sense to us at the time, so we've probably got another 2-ish years to figure this out, then yeah, I mean, why not?
Yeah.
For sure. We got friends that do it, and they're great.
Yeah,
And
their kids are great, and they're sociable, and all these other things that you worry about with homeschooling. But I think whether homeschooled or not, we'll make the right choice, and it'll work out.
I think it will definitely depend on where we are with our work with YouTube.
100%.
If we're traveling around a lot, or if we're finding that we just want to be more settled, and wherever that leads us. So we'll watch this space if you're interested. And the final question is it's a big one.
Is it?
Strap yourselves in, guys.
Oh no.
Because this person says, random, has Alex ever just had a moustache? I reckon it could work. What do you think? Do you think I could pull off the moustache and not be
Not the
accused of
beard.
being on a register somewhere?
Oh my god.
No, because some people can't pull it off.
Some people can't.
Sometimes you see a picture on the news and you're like, yep.
Oh my god.
Not saying everyone with a moustache has
Okay, just stop. Just stop right now. Basically, can Alex pull off a mustache? I'm not sure. I think what I'd be more interested in seeing is the beard without the mustache.
So you're saying you want that?
No. I'm interested to see it. Next time you shave, perhaps.
I guess the real question is, would Emma be attracted to me with a moustache?
And the answer is no.
Then I can't have one.
And then, why not make it evens? Would you be attracted to me with a mustache?
She already has one.
Oh, wow, thank you.
Well, that wraps it up for the Travel Beans Q&A of
Yay.
2024 to 25.
Yes.
If you like the video, give it a big fat thumbs up. And if you're interested in opera, check the link down in the description below. And nothing left to say, but thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time. And beans out. We should give him a loud one.
Okay.
Beans out!
Wow.
Gross.